On the international geopolitical stage, today, the 1st of September, is extremely important. The events taking place in China today are, in a word, unprecedented and historic. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has gone to China, and early in the morning, Indian time, a picture and video of a meeting between Putin and Narendra Modi has gone viral. It is clear that he is embracing the Indian Prime Minister. Subsequently, another footage shows how Russian President Putin, Chinese President Xi Jinping, and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi are spending time together, chatting and laughing. Another footage shows how the Prime Minister of Pakistan has been completely sidelined and ignored, while the Prime Minister of India, the President of China, and Putin are chatting and moving forward together. All in all, the fragmented pictures and videos that have come before us from China today are not only a surprise to Indians, but also a big surprise to the international community. And it at least proves one thing, that the geopolitical shift of power in the world is slowly beginning to turn towards South Asia, and at its nucleus is India. Many countries around the world are slowly losing faith in Donald Trump. Many countries have made deals with India. Many countries want to make deals. And at this moment, Donald Trump's unpredictable policies, unstable mind, and the overall weakness of America that we see in various fields make one thing clear, that in the next 5 years, the power politics on the international stage is going to flow in a completely different direction. And when all these events happened in China, Donald Trump started using his plan B. See, until now, the whole conflict was between America and India. Donald Trump now wants to bring all the countries of the European Union to his side. And this power politics I was talking about, that on one side there is China, Russia, and India, and on the other side, Donald Trump also wants this powerful grand alliance to fight not only America, but also Europe and all the states that are America's assistants or allies. The Donald Trump administration has now directly asked the European Union to impose the same tariffs on India as America has. Look at how bad a state a country must be in to be in a difficult position to say such things. What did Donald Trump's own trade advisor, Peter Navarro, say directly yesterday? That the Hindus and Brahmins of India are benefiting from India buying crude oil from Russia. I mean, just think, out of nowhere, without any context, they are directly making India's caste system the center of attack. That is, America's current position has no diplomacy. There is no dialogue exchange. There is no counterbalancing argument. What is there is that by using India's caste and religion as a weapon, the Americans are trying to make a historic move once again. Anyway, what did America request of the Europeans yesterday? You know, America's Scott Bessent, who is the Treasury Secretary of America, clearly said yesterday that the Europeans should support Donald Trump's tariffs and that the European Union countries should also impose these tariffs, as Donald Trump is thinking of imposing secondary tariffs against India. Remember that India is buying oil from Russia. Such a statement has come from the American side. Scott Bessent has clearly said why the Europeans are not imposing tariffs. What is the reason? The reason is very clear. I will discuss in this video why even the Americans are denying the reason, which is a big question for me. But what does Donald Trump's sudden statement of this nature mean? The meaning of the statement is very clear. He understands that after Donald Trump imposed these tariffs, France and Germany have already made two historic arms deals with India. Germany has already said that they stand with India. France has always been with India. And several countries of the European Union, such as Hungary and Slovakia, are with India and have started to oppose NATO from the beginning. Therefore, Donald Trump understands that if the whole issue is not controlled now, it will not be possible to stop this grand alliance of India, China, and Putin under any circumstances. What is the European Union's standpoint at this moment? Look, in July 2025, the European Union brought a regulation in July where they said that from the 1st of January 2026, they would bring a law where if any crude oil from a Russian source, refined, enters any country in Europe, they would not buy it and would impose sanctions on it. They had already announced this, and India has given many counterstatements, as you know. India has clearly said that they are not doing anything illegal. Everything is completely legal. And companies like Nayara Energy in India have also threatened or warned to drag the European Union to court directly. But they want to implement this whole regulation on the 1st of January 2026. But in the meantime, they started trade-related discussions with India, and both countries officially stated that trade-related discussions would begin every month. That is, Both India and the European Union want to complete their trade agreement before January 1st, 2026, because there are still 5 months left. So when these conversations are happening, Donald Trump is saying that the European Union should immediately impose such tariffs on India. Now, if you look at the current scenario, can they really impose tariffs on India? The one-word answer is no. America's previous President Biden had told India to buy crude oil from Russia. Otherwise, the stability of the oil market would be lost. If you don't buy from Russia, where will you buy from? You will buy from the Middle East. What will be the result? The result will be that the demand for oil in the Middle East will increase. So if the demand increases, the price of oil will increase. As a result, there was a possibility that the price of oil would exceed $100 per barrel at the international level. That's why America requested India to buy from Russia as well, so that the balance is maintained. Just a few days ago, Dr. Jaishankar clearly said that these Americans told us 2 years ago to buy oil and bring stability to the international market. At this moment, the European Union imports 16% of all the refined jet fuel and diesel they use from India. That is, they are hugely dependent on India. 16% of a country's fuel is controlled by one country, and it is never possible to not maintain a relationship with that country. In reality, look at America first. India controls 60% of America's pharmaceutical industry, or people's demand for medicine. That is, India is a supplier of only 60% of the medicine in such a big market. But Donald Trump has not imposed any tariffs on India's pharma sector. So Donald Trump's administration knows that if 60% of the pharma sector leaves the American market, America, a country like America, will not be able to find an alternative for this 60%. As a result, the pharma sector has been kept out of tariffs. And Donald Trump's administration is expecting that a country that has a 16% dependency on India for its fuel will end its relationship with India and will impose a counter tariff on India. So you have to understand today how unrealistic their trade advisors have become. They are targeting Brahmins. They are making all these unrealistic statements and at the same time trying to form a new grand alliance with these European unions, the literal meaning of which is today's picture, video, and this process of forming a powerful grand alliance in China. At the same time, Ukraine, which has caused so much commotion all around, also buys 15% of its diesel from India. That is, those who are directly involved in the war with Russia also buy diesel, which is made after refining crude oil from Russia, from their country, 15% of the total fuel. That is, Ukraine and the European Union are truly not in a position to function without India's diesel or fuel. To sideline India, Donald Trump is constantly putting pressure on them, as if they should now form a powerful alliance. He alone couldn't do it. He will suppress India together. This is Donald Trump's plan B. Yesterday, I did a story where I talked about Israel. They have already started putting pressure on Israel not to give any weapons to India. All arms deals should be canceled. But I have a question. At what point will Donald Trump stop? Does he not really understand that he has lost the fight? But just to win the fight, he is now trying to pull some countries to his side. And those countries will be in complete danger. Why will they be in danger? Because the economic structure of a country like Germany depends on the export-driven industry. That is, India's GDP is controlled by the consumption of the common people. But Germany is dependent on exports. Do the people of Donald Trump's administration know what will happen to their economic crisis if the Indian market is closed to them? They know everything. Everyone knows the math. Everyone has the information. But ultimately, in action, it is all for nothing. All in all, today Donald Trump has applied his new Plan B, where the euro still trades with Russia for 68 million euros. Right there, Europe is hiding the conflict with Russia and is inciting India against Europe, or inciting Europe, Ukraine, and Israel against India. If this is Plan B, then Donald Trump should accept it. His plan has failed completely.